Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, the 15th of May, and this morning I'd like to do the Cloud Chart ETF market review for the S&P SPY ETFs. Here's the brief disclaimer. So today we'll be looking at the Cloud Chart analysis for the SPY S&P 500 ETFs, looking at the SPY ETF, the S&P 500 itself, as well as sector rotation from an S&P subsector, S&P 500 subsector ETF sector rotation basis. Okay. So we're going to jump straight into the Pro Real-Time platform. I have the charts loaded here. First one on is the S&P 500 chart. We can see we've had a very strong trend and a nice rally since breaking past back here in November. A strong rally, sideways moving consolidation pattern, which normally occurs in and around the top end of the Cloud Chart support zone. The current consolidation, interesting chart pattern, we have a kind of a double bottom forming here in a base. The base is now a couple of months in length, which is quite a good sign. So if we get a breakout out of this base, we should move higher in this market. If this consolidation reverses and we do not break past these old high resistance on big volume, we might be dipping back into the bottom end of the cloud here and looking for support at this Cloud Chart support zone here. So if we look at the bottom end of the cloud here, that's a major support zone, and the top end of the cloud here is a more kind of a minor support zone. But overall, front end of the cloud still indicate that we have a good uptrend in place. We've not yet seen the trend reversal, early warning signal from that. If you look at the front end of the cloud, normally if that starts to twist to the downside, we know that we have a downtrend coming, but so far looking strong. So the downside risk is that we could sell off back down to 235 support zone. But this week, absolutely critical for us we need to break past these highs here from a Cloud Chart perspective. So we need to see a breakout in big volume past these old high resistance zones here. Fail that, we might go down and make a test these lows here for support. Watching out the MACD signal here, looking very closely to see if we get a sell signal soon. But also note the divergence between the MACD signal and the price. We have a new high, well, close to a new high in the price, but the MACD is diverging to the downside. So there is significant downside risk. We are in May, and the whole thing about sell in May, go away and come back later day. We could see a bit of a correction and a dip back into towards these support zones. But this overall double bottom forming in another base. So we're either going to break out of this base above these levels, or we're going to correct further back down to the bottom end of the cloud for support. Okay, so watching very closely to see what those catalysts will be. First sector from a sector rotation I'm going to be looking at is material sector, XLB. We can see here we're somewhat in a consolidation period here now. Double bottom at the bottom end of the cloud, nice little rebound there, traded that, broke past the old highs here, consolidating that breakout. Bit of a retest back to the top end of the cloud here for support, so we could see a nice little swing trade from this Cloud Chart support zone up. But note we've had a MACD sell, and we need to see that reverse to the upside. So watching very closely to see if support's going to come in and around the 52.27 level. Okay. Next one is the real estate, XLRE. Still looking for support here at the top end of the cloud. So far, support is holding potential rebound potential. It could rebound from this level back up to resistance level there at 31.98. But so far, we've not yet seen the MACD buy signal coming in at this level. And you could see there's downside risk to these old lows here at 31.17, but it's currently desperately fighting for support at 31.35. And if we see a nice positive candle at this level, we could be looking at going along, provided that we get that positive MACD signal. From an early swing trade perspective, you could look at a swing trade when we see a support coming in this week at that level. Consumer discretionary, XLY. Nice little rally here. We can see cloud still indicating a strong uptrend, and the nice entry points are these little rebounds to the top in the Cloud Chart support zone. So I'm buying support and I'm selling these resistance rallies as soon as it gets a little bit too far away from the top end of the cloud. So we kind of do a mean reversion strategy here. So it's slightly consolidation risk. We've had a MACD sell, so there's downside to come. back down towards this level at 88.28. So I'm watching that area very, very closely. Okay, that's the XLY, consumer discretionary. Consumer staples, XLP. They're also finding testing for support at the top end of the cloud here, looking very closely for these levels 54, 55 zone. A very interesting support zone here. These lows here is also a key area, so we're looking at for any type of buy signal coming in and around this cloud chart support test, so to speak. Okay, so it's testing for support at the top end of the cloud. You could see a possible swing trade to the upside, short-term swing trade to the upside, back up to the resistance zone, 55.79. Now, do note that the front-end cloud twist has occurred, so it gives us indication that there's early warning signals that we might be moving lower. So that could mean that we could see a dip back into the cloud chart resistance support here at 54.39. So we could see it dipping back into the cloud to try and test and to see how strong the support is. Okay. Note this 54.94 is a significant support zone because it used to be a significant resistance zone from a cloud chart perspective. So looking for a potential swing trade when support comes in at these cloud chart levels. Okay. Energy Select, XLE. We're looking like we're rebounding, potential rebound from the bottom end of the old lows here. So there's potential upside back up to the top end of the cloud, bottom end of the cloud chart resistance zone. So I'll indicate those. So you can see there, these are all cloud chart resistance zones. So we could see there's a potential swing trade back up to the bottom end of the cloud. We've just had the MACD buy signal here, so that's an encouraging thing. So there's a potential swing trade back up to the bottom end of the cloud chart support zone. Okay, so watching the XLE Energy Select sector very closely. Financials, XLF. Yeah, in the spot of trouble because price action is taking place below the cloud, so we're now in the downtrend. The cloud is a significant resistance zone, so there's potential downside risk to these lows here, 22.88, so it could drift back down here to the bottom end of the cloud here. Watch the MACD divergence, new low MACD here, as well as a potential sell signal coming through here. So there's downside to the 22.98 level. Okay. Healthcare, XLV. Couldn't get past the old highs there, struggled with that. We now had a MACD sell signal here, so it's possible for us to go down to test support here at the top end of the cloud at 74.44. And if support there fails, we're going to go into these lows here within the cloud at 73.38 and this low here at 73.12. So it could dip back into the cloud here to look for support and do something similar to what we've seen here. So up and then back down and then a potential rebound here at the top end of the cloud. So far, top end of the cloud is a key support zone that I'm looking for a potential swing trade. But so far, we've had a MACD sell signal, so we do expect it to look a bit weak or more downside to come. Industrial, XLI, double top here, downside risk to the top end of the cloud here. Watch out, we might see a MACD sell signal coming in. Yeah, so the downside risk is to the top end of the cloud here for support, and that would be, let's say, 65 on the industrial side. Looking at $65 there for a potential swing trade back up or technical retracement. But so far, watching very closely for the MACD sell signal to come in here and then retest these old highs here or cloud chart levels for support. Okay. Technology, XLK, a little bit extended. Front end of the cloud is a key support zone, so we could see a brief little snapback here. But so far, very strong rally. Had a nice trade here from a buy signal here at the top end of the cloud support zone. And we're now taking some profit off the table as it's going to come back and retest these old, the front end of the cloud support zone. These highs, yeah, test that for support. But so far, watching very closely to see if we're going to get that MACD sell signal coming through. So you could take some profit off the table over the next couple of days. Utilities, XLU, sideways moving base, very long base. Currently rebounded from old lows within the cloud, and now the top end of the cloud is a key support zone. So it looks like it's testing these levels to see if support will hold here. If support holds, we're going to go back up to test these old highs here to see if we're going to manage to break past these old highs on a cloud chart, resistance point of view. Okay, so watching very closely to see if it's going to get to the 52.20 resistance zone. We've not had a MACD buy signal yet, so this is a short-term swing trade within a base, but fairly risky since we've not had the MACD buy signal on that. And back to the S&P. So watching very closely this week to see if it's going to break past this 240 spot 32 high. If not, we could see further downside to the cloud chart support level of 235. Watching very closely to see when this MACD is going to give us a signal as well. But so far, we had a nice little trade here from a MACD buy perspective when it rebounded from support within the cloud. Okay. Until next time, happy trading.